March 1944. Somewhere in the Finnish wilderness, a patrol finds a man lying in the snow. He is wearing Finnish military whites. He has no food. He has no map. The doctors check his pulse. 200 beats per minute. His body temperature is dangerously low. His hands and feet are black with frostbite. He has been alone in Soviet-occupied territory for 7 days. He has covered more than 400 kilometers on skis. In -40, he is a corporal named Ima Koivunen, and he did not do this on willpower. He had taken the entire drug supply of his platoon, 30 pills, all at once. 1917, Harjavalta, Finland, a small farming and logging community near the Kokemäenjoki River. Ima Koivunen grew up in a country where winter was not a season. It was a way of life. From childhood, the forest was his workplace. Timber, traps, animal tracks, and snow. Finnish boys learned to ski the same way they learned to walk, on ice before they could read. By his 20s, he was the kind of man who could move through deep forest in complete silence. He could navigate by stars, red wind direction from the way snow crusted on bark. When war came in 1939, the Winter War against the Soviet Union, Finland called up its skiers. The Finns had almost no tanks, almost no aircraft. What they had was the forest and the cold. Soviet columns moved on roads. Finns moved through the trees and hit them from the side. The Winter War ended in 1940. Finland held. Barely. In 1941, the war started again, this time alongside Germany. It was called the Continuation War. Koivunen served as a ski trooper, a scout who moved ahead of the main force. His unit operated in deep terrain. No roads, only forest, frost, and radio silence. The Finnish army issued its soldiers a drug called Pervitin, a methamphetamine tablet. Pervitin was used by armies on all sides during the war. Germany, Finland, Britain. Its purpose was simple: suppress fatigue, extend endurance, keep a soldier moving when his body said stop. Koivunen's unit carried a shared supply. He was the one holding it. By early 1944, the tide of the Continuation War had shifted. The Soviet Union had stabilized after Stalingrad. Now it had resources to spend. In February and March 1944, Soviet forces launched a major offensive in Karelia. Finnish units that had held their positions for 2 years began to fall back. Koivunen's patrol was operating in the forest east of the main Finnish line. Soviet forces had moved around them. The patrol was cut off. They needed to get back through territory the Soviets now controlled. The temperature was -40. The snow was chest-deep in places. On skis, a trained Finnish soldier could move fast enough to avoid contact. That was the theory. The Soviet pursuit was closer than expected. The patrol had been moving for hours. Koivunen's legs had gone through exhausted and out the other side. He needed to keep moving. He reached for the Pervitin tin in his jacket pocket. The problem was his mittens. Military mittens in -40 are thick and clumsy. He fumbled at the tin, couldn't get individual pills out. The sound of Soviet skis behind him, getting closer. He made a decision that took approximately 2 seconds. He tipped the entire tin into his mouth. 30 tablets. The platoon's full supply. A single dose was 1 or 2 pills. He had just taken enough for 15 men. He swallowed them, put the empty tin away, and kept skiing. For the first few minutes, nothing happened. Then Soviet fire hit the patrol from the flank. The unit scattered. Each man took a different line into the trees. In the white noise of the forest and the gunfire, Koivunen lost his unit. He was alone, in the middle of Soviet-controlled territory, in -40 Celsius. And the Pervitin was starting to work. The first thing he noticed was that his legs stopped hurting. Then his lungs. The burning cold of each breath, gone. Then the fatigue. It simply was not there anymore. He was skiing faster than he had skied in years. His body felt like it was running on something other than food and sleep. Because it was. 30 doses of methamphetamine does not make you feel invincible. It makes your body behave as if it is. Your heart rate climbs toward 200. Your blood sugar floods your muscles. Pain signals are suppressed. Sleep signals are suppressed. The cold is still there. The frostbite is still happening. You just cannot feel it. He skied through the first night without stopping. He moved northwest, away from Soviet positions, toward Finnish lines. He did not know exactly where Finnish lines were. He had a general direction. He skied toward it. Day 1 passed. Then day 2. The Pervitin kept him moving, but it was consuming him from inside. His body was burning reserves it did not have. He had no food. He had eaten nothing since before the attack. But the drug suppressed hunger the same way it suppressed pain and exhaustion. He did not feel hungry. He was starving. On the second day, he passed through a sector patrolled by Soviet soldiers. He saw them before they saw him. He changed direction, kept moving. On the third day, the hallucinations began. The trees started to move, not in the wind, on their own. He heard voices in the forest, Finnish ones, from people who were not there. He found himself skiing in a direction that did not match his intended route. He had to stop, force himself to check the sun, correct his bearing, then ski again. The discipline of a trained scout was the only thing that kept him oriented. On the fourth day, he found pine buds. He stopped and ate them off the branches. Raw, frozen, almost no calories. It was the only food he had eaten in 4 days. On the fifth day, he stepped on a landmine. The explosion threw him into the snow. He lay there for a moment, then checked his body. His ski had taken most of the blast. He was injured but alive. He stood up, adjusted his remaining ski, continued. A man without 30 tablets of methamphetamine would have stopped there. He did not stop. On the fifth day, he also caught a Siberian jay, a small forest bird. He ate it raw, feathers and all, without stopping to make fire. By the sixth day, the drug was losing its hold. Methamphetamine does not give you energy. It borrows it from your future self. The bill was coming due. His heart was still racing at twice its resting rate, but his legs could barely push the skis. The hallucinations were stronger now, more continuous. He could not always tell which trees were real. He kept moving, slower now, but moving. On the seventh day, he heard Finnish voices, real ones, not the ones the drug had been inventing. He called out. They came toward him. A Finnish patrol found him face down in the snow at the edge of the tree line. They almost did not recognize him as alive. His face was white with frostbite. His hands were black. They got him to a field medical station. The doctor measured his pulse, 200 beats per minute. He had covered more than 400 kilometers in 7 days. Without food, without sleep, through Soviet lines. In -40, he was treated for severe frostbite. Several toes were amputated. He spent months recovering. His heart eventually returned to a normal rhythm. The Finnish army noted the incident in its medical records. It did not become public for decades. Aimo Koivunen returned to civilian life after the war. He went back to Harjavalta, back to the forest he had grown up in. He did not talk about what happened very much. Men who survive things like that often do not. He died in 1989, 45 years after the 7 days that should have killed him. The question is not how he survived. The question is what a human body is actually capable of when it has no choice. He sat at his kitchen table in the evenings. He was not a man who explained himself. He died in 1989. The forest where he grew up was still standing. Somewhere in that forest, there are trees that were standing in March 1944. They do not know what passed beneath them.